Well, good morning to you all, and thank you again for the wonderful welcome. Always very warm and heartwarming when I come here. For those of you who perhaps have not seen this face before or encountered the story, I would like to just briefly give you the unexpurgated version. The unexpurgated version started when I was abbot, when one of our parish fathers rang me up and said, "Father Abbot, I've got a young..." Oops, just fix it. A young Iranian imam here who wants to visit Ampleforth. Can you all hear? Yes? No, they have to.
Yes.
Can he come and visit? I said, of course, of course. That was the first meeting with Muhammad Ali Shamali and I. And from that moment, something happened. Don't ask me what, but something happened. And I've always seen it from my perspective as an inspiration from God. Out of that, there developed a relationship with, I asked him to come and speak to the monks. Now, this is rural North Yorkshire. Anything outside Yorkshire is foreigner. Anything outside Britain cannot be trusted. So you can imagine that little bit of background. So when I said to the monks, I said, I've asked an Iranian, very high quality Iranian Shia to give a talk to you on Islam. They went, what? And I said, yes, you're going to listen. So he came. I said to Muhammad, if you will remember, I said 25.5 minutes, not a second more. And he did 25.5 minutes. The most conservative monk in that group, the most conservative, the most anti-anything other than Roman Catholicism, came to me afterwards and said, that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He did everything he could, God inspired, and he got the message across. From that, I came and visited. We had a memorial carpet. We had started this series. But the important point, I think, from this is that when I retired from being abbot, I was asked by the holy man at the end there, the abbot primate, to become a representative in dialogue with Islam. But I, as an abbot, know full well that the following sentence is bound to come. There's no money in it, i.e. you have to beg. Luckily, I was given a job in Rome in a seminary, which paid me a stipend, which enabled me during the vacations to carry out what he wanted, which was to visit the Benedictine world, and during the term time to do a PhD on the relationship between the rule of Benedict and the Holy Quran. The title of that thesis is what I would like to report in public, because very rarely has it been articulated, because I'm always frightful that occasionally there's a Benedictine who has a gun in his pocket and will pull it. Is, might an expanded concept of spiritual memory be the foundation of a new style of Benedictine community dedicated to a dialogue of spirituality with Islam? It never got published, but it's still on my thing. When Liturgical Press said they could publish it, I had to change the thesis quite a lot. But it was published as No Peace Without Prayer, encouraging Muslims and Christians to pray together, a Benedictine perspective. And I brought a few copies for you here. That has led, therefore, to me working in the United States, in a university called Benedictine University near Chicago. 25% of the students are Muslim. And I was invited eventually to teach a course called The Spirituality of the Abrahamic Faiths. Now in this university, everyone has to do a religious studies course or a theology course, whether they're doing politics or economics or medical science or whatever. And the maximum size for a class was about 24, 25. I presented that course 5 times, and it was done by continual assessment. Every class was 50% Muslim. And what was great about it was I would produce for every class a text from the inspired scriptures, and then in the second class from the spiritual writers, people like Manas and Shamalier. They used to come up quite frequently on my texts. And the aim of the class, which consisted of Christians, of atheists, occasionally of Hindus, was for them to be able to appreciate similarity and difference and avoid this word same, because the word same in English is a very misleading term, because it can include identity or it can include similar, and therefore leads it to fudge. And at the end of the courses, the first one particularly, I was very nervous, because you could never quite know how it's going down, because I would give the paper, talk it through anything, they would then do a reflection, I would correct it. And at the end, the predominant view of that 25, the first 25, was, thank you, I never realized it. The Muslims never realized about Christianity, and the Christians didn't know, or the non-Muslims didn't know anything about Islam. That led to a second course on Jesus and Mary in the Holy Quran and in the New Testament, which I only did twice, but had similar results. For all sorts of reasons, I'm having to move from that university, and I'm going to another. But there's been big encouragement for it to go online, and I'm at the moment putting it online at 2 levels. One is at university level, which is what I've been teaching, and the other is at what I call adult education level. But you can see how I started off from this meeting with this guy, and we're now in a position where I'm about to go online. I mean, it's amazing. And I see it as nothing of this was part of a career plan. It all happened by the will of God. So I say thank you to Muhammad Ali Shamali, because if he had not turned up, I would never be here now. Thank you.
Thank you very much.